Hi, I'm Sarah Noble, your host for the Modern Day Intuitive Podcast. For over 25 years, I've been on a spiritual journey, searching, learning, expanding, and growing. I've traveled the world, led by my heart, on a quest to know myself so that I can support others. This podcast was created from my deep desire to help you connect with your intuition and to inspire you to create a life where the impossible becomes possible and you live into your sacred dreams and desires. Thanks for being here and enjoy the show. Hello, my loves. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So good to be here with you. Thank you for listening and for just being really passionate about developing your intuition, walking this spiritual path, the journey into your heart and into yourself. Who are you? Who are you as this amazing, unique individual that came here to Earth at this time to create magic and do something amazing with your life? I love you and I'm so grateful for you. And I want to remind you of the free resources that I have for you. I am so passionate about helping you develop this part of yourself that I love creating things for you. So Ignite Your Intuition is the free guide that gives you a meditation, ceremony guidelines, journaling prompts, lots of goodness for you to ignite your intuition. There's also the Intuitive Soul Awakening free mini course that's available where you learn about deepening your intuition through your choice, through expanding your soul as a way of living into your purpose, and for making the impossible possible. I also have a free quiz, Discover Your Primal Intuitive Power. We are all born intuitive. We're all born with 4 main intuitive gifts, and one of them is your strongest. And for me, developing that gift that was the strongest was a really great way for me to enhance and up-level my intuitive journey. So I created a quiz that helps you discover your primary power as a way to get more deeply in touch with yourself as an intuitive being and move your journey along faster. So all of those have links in the show notes. I'd love to share those with you as my gift to you on your journey. So for our show today, Elaine is here with us, and she is embarking on a new business idea and is looking for direction on which way to take this new project. And this reading is a little bit different because we really just look at her choices and what her heart really wants her to do. And we uncover the path forward for her by looking at the different choices and really feeling into what is true for her as she follows her purpose and her passion. So it was really neat to be in this little bit of a different space. So I share this reading with you. And the topics that we play with today are doing what you think you have to rather than what your heart wants, and how we all get caught in this. The importance of really listening to your heart for guidance and staying true to your purpose as you walk the path forward, and how this creates the most ease and joy for you. We talk about focusing your energy on the path forward to bring your unique ideas and gifts to the world, because there's so many possibilities of what can happen, and it's allowing your really unique and beautiful way of being in the world to find the possibility that is correct for you. And we wrap up by looking at how choosing the more challenging path, even though there's an easier path, by choosing the more aligned path with your heart, no matter how challenging that may seem, this is really where the magic lives. And this is what is going to take your life to the place you want it. So my loves, follow your heart, dream those big dreams, deepen and develop your intuition. I love you. Hi, Elaine. Welcome to the show. How can I help you today?
Hi, Sarah. Thanks for having me. I am at a place where I am looking for some direction on next steps with regards to a newly acquired property that is zoned residential, and we could remodel it from apartments, but it has been a daycare previously with a use permit for that reason. And my sister-in-law has recently expressed interest in utilizing it that way. But we initially purchased it with the thought of opening an adult day program there. And so I'm looking for guidance in those options, given that we're also now homeschooling both of our kids, and that feels like a lot of responsibility as well.
Thank you. The image that comes through as you're talking is a Ferris wheel. And with the idea that the Ferris wheel can be so much fun and it can be really beautiful, takes you way up in the sky and you see so many beautiful things. Yet the energy that I feel connected to that Ferris wheel for you feels like you're trapped, as if you're on this ride and you can't get off. And it's like you're spinning in place, right? You're in this cycle, which is really beautiful, that turning of that wheel of this Ferris wheel. So there is a lot of growth and movement and momentum in your life, yet it feels like you're caught. And so there's a different path forward that you've got to get off the ride in order to see that new path forward. So what comes up for you when I share that?
I can certainly resonate with the kind of like perpetual movement going forward. I have been feeling like I have some bigger visions of what I'd like to do with our organization. But at the same time, those words of trapped and caught definitely resonate too, in that it feels like there's just a lot of little things that I'm always allowing myself to be part of without kind of like advancing that bigger picture that I'd really like to see us become.
Yeah. So let's look at them individually, if that's okay,
Yeah.
where we put the daycare and your sister, and then we put you and an adult facility, correct? And those two?
Yeah.
So when I just look at them directly like that, the one with your sister and the childcare, there's a lot of light around it. There's a lot of laughter. There's a lot of that child energy. There feels like there's a lot of ease for you in that situation because there's not a lot that you have to do. It feels like other people are going to be taking care of that. And then when I look at you having it as an adult facility, it feels a lot heavier and like the colors aren't as vibrant. It just feels that there's going to be a lot of work involved and there's a lot more pushing energy that is needed. Not saying that it's not a viable option, but that there's a lot more work involved in making that possible in the way that you see it structured now. How do you feel about that?
So I do have like another person as a resource within the adult daycare option, but there's definitely resistance from the village where the property's located. They would really like to have it as a child care center. But I've also wondered about any intersection of those two. I don't know if you feel any energy around that possibility.
Like being able to do both the childcare and the adult at the same time?
Yes, possibly.
So when I feel into that, let's see what happens. So the energy becomes very wobbly, is the way that I see it. It's it's like trying to do too many things at once. So help me understand a little bit more. Why would you not want to just do the daycare that your sister would help with? What's your resistance to that?
While she's worked in early education, it would be potentially different. Like, I still feel like my husband and I would have a portion of supporting that. I guess I haven't thought about just totally relinquishing it to her running the child care center. So I think to me, that still feels like that option is also potentially a lot of work.
Mhm. My wonder in there is if it's less about that and more about you feeling that you need to control it.
Quite possibly.
Yeah. Whereas the adult daycare, you have a lot more experience in that. It's what you know. Am I correct?
Yeah.
The way it's appearing is that it's a known. So, yes, it's new. Yes, there's different parameters, but essentially you're continuing something that you know how to do already. Whereas the childcare feels as if there's a sense of newness in that and lightness. Yet for you, it's something different.
Mm-hmm.
And different means uncertainty.
Right.
So, what is motivating you to want to do it as the adult facility?
Well, I think one of the very practical advantages of the adult facility is the hours of operation and the staffing that goes along, because it is a much more condensed day potentially than the hours that a child care center would be open. But again, if I'm more fully releasing control of the operation,
And the hours are somewhat irrelevant to you.
yeah. But it also brings me into business with family, which is a whole nother subject, maybe, or reason for hesitation and concern over control.
Hmm. I get that. Do you have a history with your sister of things not working out well?
Well, it's actually my sister in law, and no, I would say that with her, no, I do not have that kind of history.
So, usually in these situations, right, where we have a decision and they're two different decisions, there is one that our heart already knows that it wants. Where have you landed with what you've done up to this moment of being here today, as far as what you think you would like to choose?
I feel like where I would be at would be my heart pulling me in the more known direction of working with the adults as that type of day center. Perhaps, though, because of the knownness of it.
How much would you enjoy running that center?
I feel a greater connection to that community and helping them to be connected to the community that they live in, and also being able to expose them to different health and wellness type programs that maybe they haven't experienced before.
Will you be doing that hands on with them? Or is that a byproduct of what you'd be doing?
Maybe a piece of it is hands on, but also a byproduct.
So it feels to me that you would like to go in the direction of the adult day center, even though it feels the more complicated choice, let's say. And I believe or experience that when you follow your heart even if something seems more impossible, that it's still the correct path for you. Because the daycare might seem lighter, it might be easier, but it sounds like you have a mission to help families and to help people in their later years in life. And it's important to stay true to what is your purpose. What is the thing that you are here to do? How are you here to serve? You're not here to serve as a child daycare. Like, that is a beautiful purpose and passion, but it's not yours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So following that thread that is true to what you are here to do, I believe is the choice. Even if it's going to be harder, even if it feels like, oh my gosh, I don't really know how we're going to do this, and it's going to be a struggle, magic happens in those places.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is there any sense that you feel as far as like the work with my sister-in-law, even in the adult day program?
Like including her in the program?
Yeah.
When I feel into your sister-in-law, she has a very beautiful heart. She's wants to help. I sense a lot of the lightness that I see in the child daycare side of our, equation comes from her and what she's bringing. I get the sense for her, though, it's more about children.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she had expressed interest in a child care center specifically for children with special needs, who she's served somewhat in her teaching experience already. And so there's still the connection to individuals with varied abilities, but her 20 plus years of work has all been with children.
Yeah, so it feels like it could be hard for her to switch. It's a very different place to be, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And what's dropping in is like the possibility of her having work with children that are then reading to the adults, or there's like this synergy where there's a support. I don't get the sense, like when we talked earlier at getting wobbly, like if you're trying to run both in there full time at the same time, that feels like there's too much chaos around that, is the way I see it. But if you were to bring the kids in to sing and or play with the adults that are there, or there's this way where there's this support that is bringing life to life. I see that as a possibility. And I mean, that's just one of many possibilities, right?
Yeah, do you see anything along the lines of adults with varied abilities, so potentially some with what we would, call disabilities, having a supportive role in the child care center? Might it be a flip?
The other way around.
Yeah.
Huh. See, there's so many possibilities. When you said that, I mean, I felt a spark in that.
Okay.
Yeah, that there is that, what's the word? It's like symbiosis, or, where one supports the other.
Yeah, symbiotic. Yeah.
Yeah. And so there is a lot of nice energy in that when you say it that way.
Okay.
Yeah. What else would you like, my love?
I have someone else right now supporting me on the investigation of the feasibility of the adult day program. And it's not an official hire, but more of a contract type position. And I just don't know if that's a direction that I would be going with that individual in the long term. So I guess the only other thing I would ask is if there'd be anything around that individual that you might have a sense for.
I get the sense that they could be a good transition person for you. The word that's coming through is like hands off. And I see them kind of like helping from a distance with this idea that like they're happy to help, but they're not emotionally invested the way that you would probably want someone to be if they were going to be long-term, really involved with you. I feel that they can be helpful, but this sense of distance between what you're creating and what they can provide.
Okay. That's really helpful as I've tried to look for other resources, other support, but at the same time having vision that I want to move forward with too. So yeah, that's very helpful.
Yeah. And as you've walked through this process and we've landed in this place where you see how both things could happen, there is really a lot of love, is the feeling that I get. If you create that facility the way that you want it, like with this, that you can see this intersection, the way that your heart is dreaming it, that it can be possible.
Okay.
And you're taking me back to the Ferris wheel, right? With the idea that what are you doing that you shouldn't be doing? You know, I don't want to should on you. I apologize, but but you know what I mean, right? Like those things that aren't really yours any longer, that it's time for someone else to do so that your energy can be in creating this really beautiful dream that you have. The energy of this is even brighter than when we first looked at them, right? As two paths, the adult or the child. This energy feels even more effervescent than just the child piece did.
Okay. And that's kind of how I feel too.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're marrying these worlds in a way that is unique.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel the challenge of bringing something new that doesn't really exist right now. But yeah, it just feels very inclusive.
Yeah. And that's the beautiful thing when you follow your heart, your dream, your nudge that says, this is possible. I don't know how, but I know why, right? I know why I want to do this.
Yeah.
Does this feel like an okay place to land today?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here today and making your personal and spiritual growth a priority in your life. To learn more about connecting with your dreams and your intuition so that you can create a life full of possibilities, visit me at www.sarahnoble.com and see how we can create magic together. A big thank you from my heart to yours for making the planet a better place for us all.